pick up something like an Arlot, which is not... It's still 50-50, but essentially you don't want to pick up an Arlot into a Phoveus.
Yeah.
Because you're helping the Phoveus a lot more.
You'll lose that matchup more likely.
Unless... You can't even go export because it's not a slow front to back lineup for Omega. Omega banned out the high loss instead. Yeah, could have been a good roam option, I'm actually not gonna lie.
Yeah, for the high lows, so we'll see if they... Now that it's TNC's turn to pick the... I mean, you got a bunch of the high lows gone. Where do you go? You go to Badang, it's open, so might as well grab it. Also doesn't go in the hands of Super Yoshi.
But here's the thing. They can flex this. You don't even know where this Badang's going.
Yeah. XP.
Solid for mid trio, but if there are better options that come up to answer Omega's final 2 picks, you can throw it over.
Yeah, and if ever they put that Badang in the EXP lane, you can then suddenly slot in a Mathilda as the last pick for TNC Pro Team. You pair that up with a Fredrin, that's insane rotational speed and pressure with a Mathilda, Selena, and Fredrin roaming around.
Very strong mid trio
For TNC Pro Team. Because one of the keys to victory for Omega is to force Chakno on heroes, utility heroes such as the Mathilda.
And that's a utility hero.
Yeah, that's a utility hero. But I feel like it's an exception because how Mathilda likes to dive, she actually plays a little bit more like a typical roamer. And maybe that's why they pick up a Kufra here. They're thinking about the potential of actually a Mathilda popping out here for TNC Pro Team as the last pick.
This is a good choice. It covers the base, you know, just in case that does happen. So not only that, but you actually have a really good way to play around like objectives even alone for Smart Omega, because the Zaman Force and the Feathered Airstrike gives you that advantage. You can get the kind of surprise setup with a Kufra here and just pressure from even the Phoveus.
But this is a change. Based on the draft alone, Omega now look like the more fighting lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TNC looked to play the map, just even based on the first 4.
Even around the arrows, maybe. You know? Oh, glue.
Okay.
So now we know. Wait, actually...
Yep, it's Badang Roam.
Badang Roam. But isn't there a world, too, where like glue roam can work?
It's been a while.
It's been a while, right? But...
I think he's just slow. He's just really quite slow. And once he's up there in your face and he's doing things, it's like, join me or I will be dead.
This is still good for 3-Mar, though, because I feel like, again...
Let me ride or else.
Yeah.
I need to ride. Let me glue or else. No, but for 3-Bar, like, this is better because I feel like when he's activated on heroes like this, where he can kind of tank up that damage and provide that value to the team, this is where he shines, I feel like, the best, at least from what we've seen in the series so far.
Yeah. What I like about the lineup of TNC Pro Team is, theoretically, on paper, going off of the stats that we're seeing, it's freaking annoying to deal with, man. You have a Glue, you have Badang, Fredrin, all playing around the Moskov. Even the Selena will be playing for the Moskov. So again, it's a different Moskov game. It's not splitting the map. It's the main carry. It's the main core. But there's so many great pieces around it that Omega need to play as well as they did in game number 1 if they want to walk away with a win here.
Not only that, you're going to be playing Dance because of the arrows too that you're gonna have to dodge here. So it looks like we're gonna need a little bit of a minute here before we jump into the actual game for our team. But you know, that's something that you can say is you have so many options here. I feel like in a sense on both sides, but like the glaring factor is if Smart Omega wants to fight, they'll fight. If they want to choose to, you know, initiate even early on, that's why I think those first, even under a minute, it's like, where do they set up? Because that was, you pointed this out, Renmar, earlier on, one of the main things that we saw is that early pressure early on, before the game even starts, is crucial for some of the team's early rotation. So jumping into it, we're down to this. It's game number 3 here. Will be Smart Omega or TNC to get the first victory of MPL Philippines Season 16. We got some good protection going on here, though. You can already see this is where you play around TNC's lineup. And they'll go ahead and secure things up here for Zyda.
What I also appreciate about this Glue pick, alongside it being paired up with the Badang, is that now it demands perfect entries by Super Yoshi. If he mistimes it, he's a little bit too early, he's going to be left in the dust. Because you have the Glue and or the Badang actually stopping any response that they could dish out to help out this Kufra. And you see, with Chakno being the Kufra guy, and with Badang just so good at being able to stop channels such as that, Super Yoshi, this might not be as a clear-cut game for him as some people might expect. It's going to be tough for this Kufra.
I feel like it's always the the burden of roamers, man. You know, it's like something you always,
yeah.
if you're a roamer main, you guys know what we're talking about. And, you know, part of that, again, is you're in this situation where it's like you can go in for those setups, but if you kind of miscalculate it or you're not able to capitalize on it, then a Kufra alone is kind of just left to try to bounce on out of there, essentially, and where TNC has a lot more options to catch people, to set things up if they need to.
And that seems to be the story of Omega's lineup just in general. They're solid parts individually, but if you can't get them to work together, again, they're a fighting lineup. If you can't line that up, then TNC takes over the map. That's still the story of this game.
Yeah, one last thing also about this glue is that it's actually very difficult for a Phoveus to lane up against a glue because you feel so reactive instead of being proactive in the map. You're stuck in lane against that glue who's freezing you out, who's not letting you clear up minion waves, which means TNC Pro Team, as we saw there, is free to be able to poke around this center river.
Okay, first turtle up. They'll take control of it.
There it is.
Jump in.
Chaknu engages on a Yoshi, forcing a bouncing ball.
Oh.
A retreat. Lancey flickers on, taken down, popping Yoshi's balloon. And up top again, Threemar holding James hostage. Threatening a mount here. Will not have to do it just yet because TNC's got it down pat. Turtle over to the Phoenix Army.
Exactly what we were talking about. Gonna be such a tough game here for this Kufra. I don't fully understand why he was getting vision like that. They weren't winning the EXP lane. They couldn't have gotten much, even if Haji was able to get some good feathered airstrikes in. I feel like that was a bit too forced by Super Yoshi and Omega.
Yeah, and you know, to take that decision to just go and punch in that kill for Lancey, that's going to be something that is going to work for him. You know, gets a little bit of lead onto this, but TNC starting strong already in the early game, gets themselves an objective. Now they still can punish with this kind of rotation pressure that they have. And so it's funny because with Smart Omega lineup, they just need some more time to wait, I guess, to pick some of the fights that they're looking for. Now, again, when we get to that second turtle in just a bit, about a minute away, it might be a different story, I think, especially because you're so reliant on those level 4s for this lineup from Smart Omega, and then eventually we'll see James take place into these fights here too on that Phoveus.
In terms of the items, no full builds just yet. Okay, wait. Ooh, not good for Yoshi. So tough.
Holding down the front line. Super Yoshi, the answer from Haji. Feathered airstrike. Down goes Yoshi. Might be too little too late. Traded out for the jungler of TNC. Down goes Lancey. Oh, it's go time. Threemar running away. He won't get away from this. Finally, the new Barangay claps back. Massive trades. 3 for none here for Omega.
That darn bouncing ball, man. Super Yoshi, he literally tanked up so many skills, so many ultimates and everything else that the rest of the team for Smart Omega didn't have to worry about much once they actually reinitiated into that fight and fought back TNC.
It now feels like TNC Pro Team forced that issue. At first I was like, okay, it's just a jungle trade. Sure, it hurts, but you can recover. Wait, you lose more members? Now they have to reassess their priorities if they want to walk away with this turtle. It's only a 1k gold lead, still contestable. But again, Threemar, Chaknu, just have to make sure they're in the same page with the rest of the team.
TNC may have overcommitted. They're forced out of the turtle pit. All 5 members of Smart Omega are here, holding back TNC. In comes James. Lancey gets caught out. Feather strike. Swiping away. In comes Haji. Zaida down to about 0 health now. Ryzen secures the turtle. Netsky takes down Zaida. Threemar falls as well. Double kill for the homecoming hero from Malaysia. 3 for none once again.
And that's exactly what I was talking about with their fighting power around objectives. You saw it just right there, and it was a great start. I feel like we're going to be saying this again. Just follow James.
Go with James.
Go with James.
Go with James, and if you're Super Yoshi, okay, maybe sometimes the obvious target isn't the best target. He looked away from the team fight, acknowledged that Lancey was around the middle lane, will be passing through the shrubs, and then he was able to start that off with an advantage for Omega because the Selena was taken away so quick. Without the threat of the Abyssal Arrow and the damage the Selena can dish out, that meant Zaida was just a sitting duck. Threemar was forced to respond into what just was a losing fight already. Omega have played 2 things very well, similar to game number 1, off of TNC overextending and mistiming in their engagements.
Yeah, this is crazy too because just, you know, in a matter of a couple minutes, you balloon yourself up 4,000 gold ahead. You can see, of course, some of the first items already locked in for both sides, but nearly to that second item now for Smart Omega with that kind of lead gives them that advantage. And, you know, this is something that TNC has had to deal with now a couple times where it's like, all right, it's kind of slipping too far one way. Now your frontliners or your initiators, they have a difficult time actually trying to set something up. And then you're in that case where it's like, all right, let's just play around the Selena. If an arrow lands, maybe we can do something about it. But then really, is there enough damage to follow through? Well, Benny Cutie just isn't there yet. And you look at the difference between the gold laners, Netsky is feeling pretty good here, sitting at 2-0 and a whole lot of gold.
Okay. So now TNC Pro Team, I think, yeah, just have to play around this Moskov, opening what you can in the map. And then when it comes to the team fights, it's so risky to take a full-on team fight here because Benny Cutie still barely has items. Your other main damage dealer needs to dive up against that lineup. They just have to give this up. Soft contest only.
That's it. That's the last turtle going over the Smart Omega. Not even a thought of a contest as they accept the fact that this lineup lives and dies on Benny Cutie's success. Again, there will come a time wherein Lancey's damage isn't as reliable, wherein he's literally just an arrow and trap machine.
Yeah.
This is a silver lining. This is one of their golden gooses here. Benny Cutie not dying just yet.
This is where that, you know, what we've talked about many times, where it's like, when you have a Farsa that mid lane mage that just does so well at just laying down the artillery fire, it allows Netsky to be a little more, you know, cautious in how he approaches the fight, where he drops his Diamond Force, because, and then you also have a Hayabusa there too. So it's like you soften up the TNC lineup already before even Netsky has to pop his Diamond Force and fight.
Oh, James stole the orange. Wow, deja vu from game 2.
Yeah, Zyda even had to commit the Fraser's Wrath.
Yep.
Not able to get it. See here, Benny Cutie just opening up the map, and this is what you can expect really from TNC. The rest of the team sticking as 4. Then maybe have someone close enough relatively to Benny Cutie if ever there's not enough info to where maybe the Hayabusa is or maybe where the Farsa is. They could take the Moskov out quickly.
Just to set expectations, this is not how you win. It's just how you not lose.
Yeah.
It's not like Omega's going to take this line down. They're still going to run through the map, take down objectives, steal away your camps. It's up to TNC to find that window of opportunity, that little pivot to take down members of Omega. It's literally just pick off now. You just have to pick one off. Like this. Maybe start with James?
Yeah. And again, you're also Moskov. One Spear of Destruction can take the Lord away and completely turn the game around a la OHEB and MSC. So there are still those possibilities. Those are your conditions for winning. So far, what we're seeing from Benny Cutie is just him getting farm, which you need to.
Yeah, because it's a catch-up game right now for TNC, and that window of opportunity is so small right now for TNC. Like, the right things have to fall in place for them. The question is that the First Lord? Are they actually in a position to go ahead and contest it? It looks like they want to swing this way, but still, if they lose this fight, it puts them even further behind, because a 6,000 gold lead for Smart Omega, they're playing to this power spike for them really well. If Malefic Roar picked up by Ryzen, they can actually go toe-to-toe with some of these tankier members. Half health on the Lord right now. Benny's still up top side. They just give this one up. I think they should. Oh no, yeah. You don't want to contest it, because again, you're going to fall too far behind.
Sneaky setup by the Mamba though, taking that long bush down bottom.
Yeah.
He was hoping for something.
Yeah, because if ever there could have been a turnaround, if ever Benny Cutie decided to toss out the Spear of Destruction, it was a really good angle. They could have tried to force it. Would have been risky, but at least it would have been something. It's so funny how there's just so much tough boots around. Yeah. There is so much crowd control to deal with.
From both sides?
From both sides. There's only one member without the tough boots, and it's Netsky on the Harith.
Because he has a Purify.
Yep. Just has the magic shoes on him. That's funny.
And it's passive.
It is passive.
Yeah, he's built in resilience.
It just feels like I mean, like I said, Netsky, he has kind of free reign for a lot of this, because TNC is just in a position where it's like they're already whittled down.
Very similar story to game 1.
Yeah.
His carry then. Now it's his Harith. Lord marching up top. Holy Shield still standing in mid. Bottom up until the 12th minute if that tier 2 does not fall. And the Lord will go ahead and crash in.
Yoshi.
And the jump in from Yoshi. They started it. All immediately. Zyda catches a good amount of hits.
Ryzen.
There's the mount by 3 more. Lancey in the back line. Ryzen helps take down Zyda 2. James gets the kill. They're 2 men down. Traded out 4. The SOB sidestep by James. And the base is under siege. Smart Omega take the first win in Season 16.
The new Barangay comes out for a victory in their first